Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going over my DraftKings and Fanduel Monday Night Showdown picks between the Rams and the 49ers. Should be a good game. We got a good matchup between two solid teams, and even though we got an excellent game last night between the Bucs and the Chiefs, we should get another good one, a close one, I'd say, between the Rams and the 49ers. Right now, the spread is like minus 1.5. It's like within 2 points. So let's get started. Hope you guys all had a great Sunday. As always, if you guys enjoyed the videos, appreciate it. The like button, subscribe if you haven't already. We had a great Sunday. If you watched the videos all week, it was the final look. We had Hawkinson, Jamal Williams, Reynolds, all those guys. Once Chark was out, I posted that underneath. But it was a great day. We went 6 for 6. Finally had a big Sunday. Kind of was waiting for that to happen, and kind of a slow first couple of weeks of the season, especially the last two. But nice bounce back on a Sunday. Went 6 for 6 on the main lineups. DraftKings London game did well as well. And we'll take it. Jared Goff on the early slate. I mean, he was super low on. Probably wish I could have got him in the main slate as well. Had some guys that disappointed a bit like Cooper, but still was able to make up for it with these Lions players that just went off. So we'll take it. Let's go ahead and look at tonight. Keep it going. If you want to join us, you can visit the website, dfsprocess.net. Definitely follow on Twitter for updates and to stay connected. And let's look at snap counts before we get into some looking at the pricing and looking at some builds. So week 3, we saw looking at the 49ers snap counts, 73% of the running back work did go to Jeff Wilson. We know that they have Deebo Samuel back there, that they do like to give him some running back, or like to line him up in the backfield and give him some carries as well. The wide receivers for last week for them, Juwan Jennings that played 46% of snaps. He's very cheap on DraftKings. He could be a sleeper tonight. And then I like Brandon Ayuk a lot still, like Samuel. His wide receiver snaps are a little bit lower because he probably lined up in the backfield a bit as well. Tight ends, Kittle missed the first couple weeks, but he came right back and played 90+% of snaps. So that was great to see. No sort of limit on him. And then looking at the other side in the Rams, look at their snap counts. We know that they run a pretty condensed group of guys in terms of getting targets. Most of that does go to Cooper Kupp. But Higbee, 94% of snaps last week at the tight end position. No surprise there. The wide receiver snaps were Cooper Kupp played 100%. Robinson played a bunch. He had another disappointing game, but he played 92%. And then they had Ben Skowronek play 85%. I believe Van Jefferson is back. I know he's on IR. So Skowronek, once again, will be a nice value. Well, maybe not once again, but today will be a nice value on a showdown. So keep an eye on him, and we'll look at his price tag and see how we can work him into some lineups. Running back snaps between them last week, it was 50-50 between Akers and Henderson. I think Akers will slowly, unless he fumbles, but the pricing is pretty similar on both guys. Not getting much of a discount on either one. So we'll see. I kind of like some guys cheaper than the running backs on the Rams, and 49ers do have a good defense. Looking at the pricing, Cooper Kupp is $12,000. Always a good guy to get to in a showdown. I might not be able to get to him in the captain spot just because he is super expensive, and if I do that, I'll be kind of limiting myself a little bit with the rest of the lineup. But right off the bat, I'm probably going to look to get to Cooper Kupp. I like Stafford more than Garoppolo, even though the matchup is tougher for Stafford. I just feel more, it's easier to stack Stafford with Kupp if you're doing that. He's had a really bad start to the season. Maybe that elbow is worse than people thought. But Stafford's still a guy that I'd like to get to. I feel confident in him. Jimmy Garoppolo on the other side, he's done fine. Nothing spectacular, but he's last week was very poor against the Broncos in terms of just not being able to put up points on the board, and had 2 turnovers in that game. If you're looking to get to both quarterbacks, do some builds with that. But if I had to pick between the two, I prefer Stafford. Looking at the running backs, you have Wilson at $8,200. He's expensive. He did get a lot of touches last week and the week before that, but the Rams have a very good front seven, so I'll probably look to get to the wide receivers cheaper. And then same thing for Akers and Henderson. It's going to be tough, I think, to run the ball on both sides. So might as well get to guys that are cheaper that play a bunch of snaps, like Kittle, Robinson. Both guys will play 90+% of snaps. Ben Skowronek played a bunch in the wide receiver 3 role for them last week, and he's going to continue to do that this week. He's $4,400. You can look to work him in. Higbee looks good. At 52, he's benefited in terms of getting extra targets without Van Jefferson. He's gotten 24 targets in 3 weeks. The kickers, both guys have pretty good legs. Robbie Gould has been around forever. He can kick 50-plus yards, and Matt Gay 57 yards long, and he's also gives you a powerful leg, so I'll probably like Gay more, just $200 cheaper, and feel like he can probably boot like a 50-plus yarder more easily than Robbie Gould. Going further down, you have Jauan Jennings, who did play a good amount, almost 50% of snaps for them last week, and he's only $2K. We know Ramsey's probably going to be locked in on Deebo Samuel, so that could open up the door for Jennings and or Brandon Ayuk, who I do like. And then at the bottom, you in like big field GPPs and showdowns, you can always get creative with like a Kyle Juszczyk, hope that he gets into the end zone, like a Blanton, hope that he gets something, but really nothing that I feel anything worth mentioning too much besides like a sprinkle if you play a lot of teams. So looking at some builds, we do have some guys cheap down here that I think can work into your captain spot. So first build I'll do is with Brandon Ayuk at captain. He's 11-4. He's been a pretty good target for Garoppolo going back to his days. Had a touchdown last week, one of the lone scoring drives for them against the Broncos, and did have 8 targets. He's going to continue to play huge snaps at lining up a wide receiver, especially if they still continue to give Deebo Samuel some work at running back. So I love Brandon Ayuk at his price tag and captain spot. Kittle, I'm looking to get to him as well today at 66. Let's put in Cooper Kupp here. Put in Matt Stafford. We're left with $4,700 left. Robinson at his price tag at $6,200 looks pretty appealing, I'd say. And then at the bottom, you can save like $1,200 if you wanted to and put in Jauan Jennings at his price tag. If you wanted to, instead of Stafford, just so you can get to like a kicker, you can maybe go Garoppolo instead, and then you'd be able to get to Matt Gay if you don't feel good about Jauan Jennings at his price tag, but this one looks fine. You have a pretty balanced lineup, and that's what I kind of expect this game to be, close one. You got a very tight and close spread between the two teams, less than 2 points right now. So that's one build. We'll go a little bit cheaper at captain, like a Kittle I think will be popular at captain just because he's so cheap. Get to Stafford, get to Kupp. Get to even like a Higbee, I'd say. It looks appealing. Now you have 47. You can put in Skowronek. This is a little bit more heavy on the Rams side, but you get to a lot of the playmakers. And on the 49ers side, you get to both guys that probably give you opportunities for touchdowns, minus like Deebo Samuel and potentially Jeff Wilson. But Kittle and Ayuk are both really good plays based on their price tags, and I'm looking to get to both. Instead of Skowronek, we can go down, put in like a Matt Gay, or just miss out on being able to get to Allen Robinson. If we do something like that, maybe you could look to, I guess, the defense, the Rams, if you wanted to be frisky. Another one we'll look at is with a expensive captain, so let's see what type of build you get if you put a Cooper Kupp at captain. Do that. Still look to pair him with like Stafford. Go to Kittle. Go to Ayuk. Kittle and Ayuk are probably like 2 plug-and-plays for me. The price tags are just really nice on both guys. Put in Jennings. We'll have $5,200 left, and then we can put in Higbee. So it's not terrible going with a Cooper Kupp captain build. You still get to a lot of playmakers, so something to consider. But in terms of core plays for me, still not decided on what I'm going to do at captain. I might not be able to get to both quarterbacks in the same lineup just because I'm going to be looking to get to Cooper Kupp and prioritize him. But we'll see, like going Ayuk at captain, or even going like George Kittle at captain, who's very cheap at $9,900. I like him. I like Ayuk. And then obviously you're going to be looking to get to Cooper Kupp on the other side. Value picks. I like the price tag on Jennings a bit. I like Higbee. Skowronek because of the mix, but I like Higbee more for $800. Matt Gay at 38 looks fine. The defenses might be popular today just because you have two good ones, and besides like some of these guys that I mentioned, they're not a ton of value at the bottom. But I think these three are a pretty good starting point, at least on DraftKings. Now let's go ahead and take a look at, and then if I maybe like a fourth one will be Robinson potentially, but he's kind of been very frustrating in terms of a fan perspective, even his own perspective. But these three, especially on the 49ers side, Kittle and Ayuk are two guys I'm prioritizing. Then obviously you're going to go to Cooper Kupp if you can on a showdown. Stafford would be the last guy in terms of the 4. But definitely if you make a lot of teams, you can sprinkle some other guys in there. But that's it for the DraftKings look. Let's go ahead and take a look at FanDuel. All right, on FanDuel, Cooper Kupp is super expensive at $17.5. Still, we'll look to get to him in a lineup, but there's still plenty of other guys that we can look to. Starting off with the flex plays. Once again, Ayuk is super cheap, as well as George Kittle. 85 for Kittle, 9K for Ayuk. Those guys will be the two of my favorite plays. Skowronek is only 75, so I like him better than Jennings. And that's basically it in terms of the values. You have Juszczyk potentially. Hope that he can get into the end zone. Plug in. Let's see if we put in Cooper Kupp here. We have 12.5 left. Still put in. You can get like Matthew Stafford here, and we have 95, where you're gonna be potentially looking at the defenses, or you can put in Allen Robinson and get to the both top wide receivers, and get to the quarterback in Matthew Stafford. So if you put in Cooper Kupp on FanDuel, you're not going to be able to get to both quarterbacks, which I don't mind. But Deebo Samuel's also $3,500 cheaper if you wanted to go that route. And then you'd have ability to get up to like a Wilson if you wanted to do that. But personally, I probably still like the Cooper Kupp and Robinson instead of going Deebo and like Jeff Wilson. But I think it's going to be a close one. Wouldn't be surprised if the Rams are able to win this game. But definitely on the 49ers side, these two are the ones I'm prioritizing on both sides. So that's pretty much it for me. Go ahead and just put in, I guess, we'll go ahead and just fill out this part. Stafford, Ayuk. Higbee's a bit not too expensive, but in terms of just like a single lineup, he wouldn't be on the top of my list just based on his price tag. Even like Matt Gay at 85 looks pretty good, or like Gold is only 8,000 as well. But these three I'd try to get to. Like the price tag, especially for the 49ers guys. And Stafford, prefer him a little bit more than Garoppolo. But that's it for this showdown. Hopefully we get a good game. I think we will. Hopefully it's not just a field goal affair or just a low-scoring affair, especially after last night's game. But thank you for watching. Best of luck, and I will see you all next time.